Hello everybody and welcome to Woopercast. This is episode 28 for December the 19th, 2016. As always, I'm your host, Joe Yates. So, first of all, what are we doing in this episode? We are going to be discussing the recent London European Intercontinentals. Not only was it the biggest tournament in Europe, but it's also very difficult to say because there's so many long words in it. I was there myself. I attended. I finished 63rd, just in the money, just about in the money, 2 places away from not being in the money. But where's the fun if it's comfortable, eh? I went 6-3, I was playing Vespiquen, Zebstrika, Raichu. Like I said in maybe 2 podcasts ago, the Vespiquen was going to be a very good play. For this tournament, it turned out to be, there were 2 or 3 Vespiquens that made top 32. They were running Garbodor as opposed to Raichu. That was the main difference between their lists and mine. And I admit, yeah, Garbodor would have been nice. My issue with that was finding the room for Float Stones, because I ran no tools in my own list. And if you guys do want kind of a quick analysis of Vespiquen, I can do it. I have played a lot of Vespiquen since starting the Pokemon TCG. And really, my main reason for playing Vespiquen was not because it was in a great position for the meta. It was just because I know this. I can do Vespiquen. That's fine by me. But yeah. So, I'm going to be covering my experience of the tournament. I'm going to be covering the results of the tournament as a whole. Just going to be talking about random stuff like that. It's going to be kind of a chill, laid-back one because also I kind of have a cold right now, so I can talk, but also, like, my voice is probably going to sound noticeably hoarse at points, so please forgive me for that. But anyway, let's get straight to it. So, first of all, I did vlog this. The vlog should be going up hopefully, like, tomorrow or something. I'm going to try and get it up as soon as I can. I need to just stick all the bits of video together. You know, maybe if you want a more personal insight into the channel, you can watch that, I guess. It was more for my own, you know, personal, how do I put this? My own, like, personal memories, like, kind of just, like, taking photographs of an event. I figured this would be a nice way to record it. And hey, if you know me personally as well, you'll probably get something out of watching it too. So there you go. But I'm also doing, like I said, I'm doing the recap here. Going to be talking about all the decks, and the big winner, of course. Anyone who is watching the stream knows this. Anyone who is paying mild attention knows this, but Yveltal is kind of good. A little bit, just a little bit. It's really insane how good this card is. It's really insane how dominant this card is becoming, and how dominant it still is even after God knows how many years that it's actually been in the format for now. And it's still as good as it ever was, if not better. So, I'm going to talk about my own deck construction first going into this. And I played Raichu, Vespiquen, Zebstrika. So, the deck started off as just, like, Vespiquens and Raichus. And I ran Skyfield with Raichu because I felt this gave me advantage against things like Volcanion. Because early game, I could actually get the Skyfield down and I could start killing baby Volcanions with the non-EX Raichu. And if you're worried about Fury Belts, I actually ran one Rattata as well to get rid of Fury Belts and stuff like that, so I felt confident in taking KOs against bulky non-EXs in the early games. I think that was a nice call against Volcanion. It did actually come up. It also works against Xerneas Rainbow Road. You know, obviously, if the Rainbow Road player is smart, they're not going to be playing their own Skyfields, so it means that you can start doing big numbers in the early game with Raichu and then finish things off with Vespiquen. And if you manage to hit a Lizond in the early game as well, you get free 2 prizes on a Shaman super early on, even if you've been Parallel City or something like that. So it's not a problem. So I think that was one aspect of the deck I kept. That was something that I wanted to keep playing, because I liked that Raichu could hit these big numbers where Vespiquen couldn't. And then by the time Raichu was dead and you had the Vespiquens out, you were starting to hit crazy numbers with that thing. And no one was running Karen, so you remained hitting crazy numbers with that thing. So that's kind of why I kept that concept. But then why'd I throw in the Zebstrika? It seems excessive to have Zebstrika and Raichu, I know. First of all, I tested the deck. I was playing the deck against Yveltal. And I was losing against Yveltal with Raichus and Skyfield. And I was like, this is absolutely nuts. This is stupid. I should not be losing this. I can circle circuit for 320. Why am I losing this game? The main reason is because Yveltal runs Garbodor and Parallel City, and if they play Garbodor, and if they play Parallel City, and then you can't find a Skyfield, and then you circle circuit for 120, and you're like, oh, that's bad. And then they just Y-Cyclone their energy off, and they kill you, and you're like, what the hell just happened? How did I not beat this thing that I hit for weakness as a non-EX? It's completely bizarre. So I went down from 3-3 Raichu, and I put in a 2-2 Zebstrika line. And Zebstrika was the hero of the day for quite a lot of people. The reason people are playing Vespiquen with Zebstrika is because Zebstrika is such a niche card. It only really works in 1 or 2 matchups. And Vespiquen, of course, lends itself to cards like this. It allows you to play cards that are super specific and that only work in really situational, in really niche situations. So that's why I decided, you know what, I can get away with this. The Zebstrika was the MVP of the day. I loved this card. I absolutely loved it before anyway. As soon as it came out, I played around with it a bit and I really liked it, but there were just very few decks that I managed to find the room or an excuse to play it in. So I was really happy to have it here. If you have an extremely good memory, I think I did mention back around Nats, one of the decks that I was contemplating for that was Night March with a 1/1 Zebstrika line. I love this card so much, and I'm finally glad I got an excuse to play it, which was really, really nice. So the thing is, Crashing Bolt will kill an Yveltal all the time, without exception. There's like no way that they can survive that, unless, I don't know what they'd have to run within the standard format to do that. Maybe like, God, 4 Rhyperior, the one that reduces the damage you take by 10. I don't even know if that would work. I'm not going to run the math right now. It's stupid. There's no way they can survive it, and that's just what you want against the Yveltal. You need something that hard counters it if you want to guarantee a positive matchup for yourself, I believe. It's not shut down by Garbodor or Parallel City. On top of that, it has 100 HP, where Raichu only has 90, which means that Yveltal cannot Y-Cyclone to kill it. They need to commit a Fury Belt in order to do that. And yeah, they can do this, it's not that difficult, but it's just something else that they need. And if they miss that and they have to use Evil Ball for the knockout instead, then it's even better, because they've got more energy on this thing, they're not spreading around the board, and you're in an even better position. So, between Raichu and Zebstrika, I felt extremely confident against my Yveltal matchup. On top of that, Zebstrika is really good against Vileplume Toolbox, and I did play a Vileplume Toolbox at this tournament, and I won it, beat it 2-0 because of Zebstrika. It was so good. So, Zap Zone means that your Pokemon's attacks, your Lightning Pokemon's attacks, go through all effects on your opponent's Pokemon. And of course, Glaceon EX can be a bit of an issue, since we only run evolutions. I did not run Mew EX. I thought Garbodor was going to be everywhere. At one point, I did have Magearna and Metal Energies, and that could easily deal with Glaceons, but I wasn't super happy with it in a lot of other matchups, so I decided to cut it in favor of just straight consistency and just 4 double colorless. So instead, what you do is if you have Zebstrika in play, and Raichu, and a Skyfield, you can Circle Circuit for 160, which is a stupid high number. That sometimes is enough to take the knockout on a Glaceon, because if they put a Rainbow Energy on it, it goes down to 160 HP, there's your KO. If you don't get the KO, that's fine. They don't KO you, they're 20 damage short. So you can then either follow it up with Zebstrika attacking himself, or Raichu just attacking for a second time, or even better, a Sky Return for the KO. It gives you actually a really positive matchups against that deck. You know, granted, if they go first and get the item lock, you know how it goes. That's how Vileplume wins a lot of its games. But if you do manage to get a chance to get into the game and start running through your cards, that's what the kind of situation you find yourself in. That's the position that you want to be in. So I felt very confident against 2 matchups that otherwise would have been a little bit difficult for me, thanks to Zebstrika. So that's why I ran that. I also ran 1 copy of Ranger. There was no way Glaceon was stopping me that day. That's for sure. I only played it once the whole game. I think I played it for no effect at some point as well, just to get it out of the hand. But yeah. Anyway, so, my own matchups. First of all, I would like to say that I played 0 Yveltal all day. I do not know how this happened. I was at top tables constantly. Every time I played, next to me, my right and my left, I was looking, it's Yveltal. When am I going to play it? I really wanted to play it just because I knew I had a good positive matchup against it, and it just never happened. Which is pretty amazing. Somehow avoiding it that whole tournament. Yeah, I don't know how I did it. So anyway, game 1, I did not remember a lot of people's names. So forgiveness on this. Sorry about this, but I will go through this kind of quickly. In fact, you know what? I think I wrote it down somewhere, did I? No, I probably didn't. I'm lazy like that. So game 1, round 1, I believe, I was against a Japanese player. Again, sorry I can't remember your name. There were only 3 Japanese players over for the tournament. I ended up playing 2 of them. I was pretty happy about this. But round 1, when you get paired up against a Japanese player, and your deck is built to be anti-meta, that's terrifying, because they don't play the meta. They play weird stuff. Who knows what the Japanese have come up with. Thankfully, he was playing Rainbow Road, and that's a solid enough matchup for me. Really cool build. The other Japanese player I played, Takuya Yaneda, of all people, actually. ended up playing the same list as him. They must have just built it as a team, I assume. But basically, it's a simple enough matchup. Eventually, your Vespiquens are able to kill them in one hit. Raichu can kill them in one hit early game as well. I don't believe either of them ran Fury Belt either. They just ran a Break Xerneas. So it was really easy for me to take KOs into Xerneas. And once you get through them, their board, their bench will be full of EXs, yours won't be. And that's really how the matchup is supposed to go. That's how that one went. Round 2, who was I against round 2? I'm going to have to cast my mind back for this one. Okay, I worked it out. I remembered it now. We're all good. So, round 2, I was against Vileplume Toolbox, which, like I already described, went in my favor. I felt like the Zebstrika just made it easy. He went first, but he didn't get the Vileplume up in game 1. So, I was like, alright, I got 2 Blitzel down, and yeah, I win now. And that's basically how that one went. I had the Ranger and everything. It just went all as it was supposed to go, and it was really nice. Then, game 2. He goes first, and literally he's about attaching energy, and he just shows me his hand, and he's like, which one of these would you like me to attach? And it's all 4 of his double colorless. So I won that game. That went as you'd think, which was pretty funny. Really nice guy, though. Sorry, I cannot remember any names from this. I'm very stupid like that. But super nice guy, though, and it was actually a really fun game. More fun than any game against Vileplume Toolbox really should be. So, yeah. Then, we're going on to game 3. I'm against Volcanion, a Swiss player. Names, again, escape me. Volcanions are really 50-50 like, really 50-50. There's always literally one turn, and you know what turn it is when you're there. Like, you can feel the turn. It's always toward the end of the game where you're like, if I hit X now, I win. If I miss X now, I lose. Every single Volcanion game will come down to that, provided you both draw well. So game 1, he draws well. And actually, game 1, I think he won that. I can't remember how that went. Game 2, I drew everything I was supposed to, and I won that. Then game 3, I'm at that point in the turn. I have Shaman in my hand. I Shaman for 6, and I know I need to hit double colorless out of like an 8-card deck, and I had 1 left. I needed to hit DCE and Lazond, and I hit the Lazond, but not the DCE. And I was like, well, I can't Sycamore, because then I can attack, but I don't get the KO on it in EX, and now I lose. Because I needed to hit those 2 cards out of my 8-card deck, and I didn't. And that's what every single Volcanion matchup comes down to. It's all about, you need to hit this really specific thing at this really specific time. You know exactly when it is, and if you miss it, game over. And that's what happened. So no, fair play to him, though. I believe he went on to make top 32 as well, though, so well done. Again, names. I really wish I wrote these down. Game 4, I believe we're on now. Yeah, I was up against Mega Rayquaza, and I play Zebstrika, so I won. That's like just how it goes. You just Crashing Bolt and you kill everything. It can even kill Dragonites. How cool is that? And unlike the Yveltal matchup, they don't parallel City Garbodor you, so Raichu can still wreck things completely. I believe, what was I going to say here? Yeah, because he started actually the game. He opened the game with the Lunchbox promo, Magearna, and I was like, okay, Mega Scizor. I'm not sure how this matchup goes. I didn't test it very much. I think it's fine as long as I can get... It's a bit like the Mega Mewtwo thing. As long as I can just get an unholy amount of Pokemon in the discard really early on, I should be fine. And then he hooped it for three Rayquaza, and I was like, I win! So that's just how that matchup goes. You just hard counter it. Game 4, I'm against Grafton Roll playing Frogs. I remember him because he made top 8. And damn, we had some weird games. I think I won game 1, and I was feeling really, really good after that. Bear in mind, I didn't play Hex or Forest of Giant Plants. I really did not tech my deck to beat Frogs. The only tech I ran was like Escape Rope, Rattata, and 2 Lazond to make sure that I wasn't attacking into Bursting Balloons in the early game. So that was kind of fun. And they did work. I don't think I attacked into Bursting Balloon like once. So game 1 I won. Game 2, he won. And game 3 he won. His Ace Trainers were so on point, man. My hand I always got my Ace Trainer, and I was like, Ace Trainer Shadow Stitching just left me with nothing that I could do, and I couldn't draw out of it. And yeah, fair play to him. Look, we all know he's a good player. He made top 8. So yeah, I just got decimated. Really cool list as well. Like the mad amount, like 3 Max Potions, 2 Enhanced Armors, which really caught me off guard at one point because saw him discard an enhanced hammer, I saw him sycamore it away, and I felt really safe. I was like, yeah, I can drop this extra special energy. And then he throws down another enhanced hammer. I just got completely caught off guard by that. Anyway, well done Grafton for his top 8 finish there. Round whatever I'm on now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Round 6. Believe it or not, I played against Mega Blastoise. I don't know how, but he flips over. His record's like 3-1 or something like this, or 3-2 or whatever. It's the same as mine. And he flips over a Blastoise. And I'm like, it's the most shocked I have ever been during a game of competitive Pokemon. It was amazing. I was like, I know what one of your cards is. What are the other 59? No idea. This could have just been like Rapid Spins and Wobbuffets for all I knew. It was insane. I had no idea what to expect from this dude. But it's weak to grass. So it went like exactly as you imagine it goes. I'm hitting an EX for weakness. The Klefki was actually really important in it though, because his attack does 20 to 2 benched Pokemon. So I could never just leave a Combi unevolved for a turn. I had to keep evolving it up with Vespiquen and stuff like this. And because I cut the Forest of Giant Plants from my deck, that became a little more difficult. On top of that as well, the Klefki was just so good because it meant I could kill 2 Blastoise with a single Vespiquen. It was just really easy to do. So, yay! Then the game after that, what are we on now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Round 7. I played against Zygarde, player from Singapore. And Zygarde's weak to grass. Like, it was a little bit difficult in the early game because Zygarde with a Fury Belt still has a ton of HP, even if you're hitting it for weakness. And all of your other things are weak to fighting, so they get KO'd really easily. But I realized going in, after game 1, I realized I can just Shaman loop him until I have enough Pokemon in the discard pile. Because it's going to be a while before he can kill a Shaman. So I just decided, screw it. Let's just go with that and then build up these like stupidly big Vespiquens. I think if he ran Karen, though, that matchup would probably be in his favor. But, you know, like I said, no one was running Karen. That didn't make any sense. So, yeah, I ran into Mega Blastoise and Zygarde 2 rounds in a row. No, I did not play any Yveltal all day, but I played Mega Blastoise. Like, what a story. So, we're going into round 8. I'm against Rainbow Road. Takuya Yaneda, piloting it. Of course, we all know who he is. Absolute legend. Been in the game for years. Tons of great results. Top 8 Worlds. I think he won it in seniors. All these crazy things. And he's been going for ages, so it was really cool. I was like, one of the things I wanted to get out of this tournament as well was, you know, playing high-level players in high-level situations. But the thing is, we're both on 2 losses at this point, and you need 7 wins. 2 losses is like the record you need to get through. Because you need 21 points. So even a draw at this point wasn't good. We were both playing for the win. And damn, this dude's so good. Like, he was playing Rainbow Road. He was playing the same list as the last guy I faced, but he was playing things like Faded Town, meant that Raichu couldn't get the KO on Xerneas. He was just so clever. I don't think he benched any EXs that weren't named Volcanion for, like, the whole game. It was insane. He made really, really brilliant uses of his resources. It was just like, he played the matchup exactly as he should have played it. And it was really hard to adapt to for me. So game 1, he actually takes it because, stupidly, I knock out a Xerneas. I take 2 prize cards. And I'm like, oh, damn. And then I have to call over a judge, and he says Takuya gets a prize penalty. I run the math in my head. I can't win this game. We scoop and go to game 2. Game 2, I just play off my mind. I think I kind of relaxed after playing Mega Blastoise and Zygarde. For, like, 2 rounds. I felt like I didn't have to think too much in those games. I felt like I can make misplays and still win them comfortably just because of the inherent type advantage. But against Rainbow Road, against this guy, I was like, I had to be straight up on point again. So I needed a bit of a wake-up call. In game 2, I just played amazingly. I'm really proud of how I played that. I think I made no mistakes. I was just so on point, and I did what I meant to do, and I won that game. Game 3, again, super tight, super close game. I'm in a good position, and then he ends me to a low hand size, and then I have a decision to make. I have an N and a Lazond in my hand, and he has 2-card hand and 1 prize left. And I can N him to 1, and hope he doesn't hit what he needs. And he's got a thin enough deck, so I think it's likely enough that he'll hit it regardless. Or I can hold, and I have Lazond in hand for game next turn. And I decide to hold, and he has what he needs in hand. And I'm still angry about it, because I feel like if I had to end, at least there was a chance I could have still won that, and I could have gone on further. And it's the biggest misplay I made all weekend. All weekend. It was very, very frustrating. But what can you do? I did my best. I have no regrets, whatnot. Then final round, I'm against Nilo Dieguez. He's playing Mega Mewtwo. Nilo, I played him at the end of Nats last year as well. And we both knew that neither of us were making top 8 at this point, so this was really just for money. We weren't sure. I don't think we actually pointed that out during the game or anything. We were just kind of... It was a pretty laid-back game for the last game to be played in a European Intercontinentals run. So, but yeah, super cool guy. I ended up... My Mega Mewtwo matchup, it's really weird. Really weird. You need to do some strange things. Like, you need to... Like, opening game, what you want to do is Circle Circuit for 80. Exactly 80. So 4 Pokemon on the bench. And the reason you want this is because now they can't damage change for the KO. And also, if you put a Klefki on it, they can't Psychic Infinity for the KO either. So what you do is you take them down to 130 HP, which means you can kill them next turn with a Circle Circuit or with a B-Revenge. But early game, that's what you want. And if you can hit Lizond up a Shaman really, really early on as well, that will also just shift things in your favor so heavily. The Klefkis come in super useful. If they play Garbodor, Nilo didn't. And I agree with his reasoning on not playing Garbodor, but I also think against my deck, I think Garbodor makes my job a lot more difficult because I need to pick that off early game. Not too difficult to do, but it's just something else that I have to get done. So the Klefkis can start coming online. But anyway, I ended up just doing exactly what I was supposed to do. It's just you make weird decisions in that matchup because you want to play around damage change, but you also want to hit for big numbers. So, but good thing you can control your damage with Raichu, basically. So yeah, that's how that one went. I was happy with it. So I finished 6-3, 63rd place, 500 quid apparently. I don't know when Pokemon are going to contact me about that, but hey, what can you do? That was nice. Just on the point of my own experience as well, I did play in the League Cup the next day. It was expanded for some reason, which threw literally every player in that League Cup off. Everyone was like, I talked to was like, yeah, I didn't bring any expanded cards, but my friend did, so I built a deck at 1 a.m. And that's what I did. I built Night March at 1 a.m. I played like one solitaire game against no one. I just did an opening few turns, and I was like, my opening ended like Puzzle at a Time and a Battle Compressor, 2 puzzles at a time and a Battle Compressor, and I was like, why did we ever think this was okay? This is so stupid. Yeah, I had fun playing Night March though. I ended up, let's see, I went the first 5 rounds undefeated. I have no idea how, but I think because I played Mr. Mime and everyone else I played was playing Night Spear Darkrai and no Hex Maniac, so I was just like, yeah, you can't hit me for, you can't, double up and hit the bench. So it was really easy to win those games. So that was pretty fun. But on top of that, we also, what else? What was I going to say? Oh yeah, last round of that, fun story. I actually played Tablemon, Pablo Meza, all the way from Mexico. He was playing Trevenant, so he won, obviously. But I ended up selling my prize tickets to him at the end, and that paid for my dinner that night. So thank you, shout out to Pablo for paying for my dinner after the League Cup. So that was pretty cool, actually. Really nice guy as well. Yeah, that was my experience in London. It was kind of a weird weekend, super fun weekend. The apartment we got was amazing. Like I said, if you want to see more of that, go to the vlog, which will be up soon enough. Next day or two, guys. Something like that. Yeah, so what did I make of the top 32 overall? Really, I don't think there's anything I can say about this. I said before the tournament, Vespiquen was going to be a good call, and it was. On top of that, I said nothing else would change, and that's true. Volcanion was still popular, Greninja was still popular, and obviously Yveltal was still stupidly good. I'm going to pause so I can sneeze, and we're back in the game. But yeah, really, the results of this tournament shouldn't have surprised anyone. Like, why is Yveltal this good? I think my own personal preference on Yveltal would be that I prefer the version that I cannot remember who ran it, but it's like, it's just Yveltal's. There's like, the Fright Knights are fine, but I think my own preference on it is to run a 3rd Trubbish and 1 less Shaman. I think 1 Shaman is fine in the deck. I believe 1 variant in the top 8 did run this combination of things. I think the 3rd Trubbish is so good. It solidifies your matchups against things like Greninja. In the mirror match, you can get it up, you can't get it up. It doesn't really matter that much. You just kind of have to time it right so that your Fright Knights and your opponent's Fright Knights aren't screwing one of you over. There's like no matchup where getting up the Garbodor hurts you. And in fact, it's always good because Garbodor Parallel City N is just stupid good against like literally anything. So I see no reason to not do it. So I think if I was going to a tournament and I was playing Yveltal, I was choosing between Yveltal and Vespiquen going into this tournament. Those were my two picks. And I think my own Yveltal variant was absolutely going to be the third Trubbish minus one Shaman. One Shaman is fine. It's a bit like Jirachi and Expanded. You just use it for early game consistency. Sometimes you don't need it at all. Like, ideally, you're going to have the Garbodor up by turn 2, so it doesn't matter. I think it's really at the point, though, where I know a lot of people are complaining about Yveltal, saying it's a boring format because it's all just Yveltal. Really, is that bad? Like, Yveltal mirrors are really skill-based. They're really fun to watch. It really affects how you build your deck. Do you run things like Team Flare Grunt, Reverse Valley, how many Enhanced Armor, is Promo Jirachi worth a call? All these things do have to come into effect because of the Yveltal mirror match, and I think it leads to some really entertaining and interesting games. Like, the top 8 was just Yveltal, but it was still fun to watch because it's just a fun game it's a fun interaction of cards. It's fun to see, it's a lot of Y cycloning back and forth, but then trying to time Fright Knight, trying to play around Garbodor or use it to your advantage. These kind of things can be crucial. And seeing Team Flare Grunts after Y Cyclones is hype as hell. I don't care what anyone says. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the format. I don't think it'll change that much going into Leipzig, which is the next tournament we have coming up. I won't be at Leipzig, but I am planning to be at both Sheffield and Malmo in March. I'm so looking forward to Malmo. I've never been to Sweden, but it seems really fun. So that should be cool. But other than that, I don't see the format changing too much going into Leipzig. I don't see... If Zebstrika wasn't going to bring down Yveltal, nothing will. That's as simple as it goes. Like, the only other thing you can build is, like, Quad Zebstrika, and then you lose to everything that isn't Yveltal, which is still making up a large amount of the format. Like, you're going to lose to Volcanion then. You're going to lose to Greninja then. I do hate playing against Greninja. I want to make this point. I really hate this deck, and I can't wait for it to go. It's just such an annoying... I hate the pressure of... Hey, it's turn 1. Hope you have Lazand in hand so you can start killing rookies right away. I hate the amount of pressure it puts on me when I play against Greninja. So I don't know. Maybe the next deck I pick up is just going to be like Quad Go-Goat Garbodor or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, guys. This has been Joe from Woopercast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back every week with a new podcast. Next week, maybe I'll go over some Sun and Moon cards. Maybe something like that. It is Christmas coming up. I don't know if I'll do a Christmas special or anything. I'm not particularly festive, but I don't know. Maybe I'll think about it. So, find us on Facebook.com/Woopercast, YouTube.com/Woopercast, SoundCloud.com/Woopercast, also on Stitcher and TuneIn. Links to everything in the description below. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.